Typically, one of the best months of content for Pokemon Go is the month of October, and we got information regarding what's going to be coming to Pokemon Go during the month of October of this year, and I'm actually pretty excited about it, and I think there's a lot of things that are going to be seen as nice surprises. So that's what we're going to be talking about in this video. I'm going to be going over all of the content that's coming in October 2025 in Pokemon Go. Alright, how's it going everyone? Jinsula here with a brand new Pokemon Go video. I hope your day is going really well, and let's get right into it. So, we have information regarding the content that's coming to Pokemon Go in the month of October, and typically with this month, like I said at the very top of this video, it is meant to be a pretty hype month. Usually it's the first month of autumn for a lot of parts of the world, so they have a lot of really good events and a lot of Pokemon debuts that happen during this month. And it looks like this month is going to follow suit. I will say there are a couple of things that are a bit of a disappointment, but I also think there's a lot of nice surprises and a lot of things they've never done before. And overall, it's going to be a pretty good month in my opinion. So yeah, let's go over all the details and all the things that are going to be happening in October, and then afterwards, let me share some thoughts regarding it. Alright, so let's talk about the October content update. So, the featured Pokemon for this month is going to be Mega Metagross, which we know is going to be making its debut, but they also stated that Dipplin and Hydrapple are also going to be featured Pokemon. So, I don't know if there's going to be anything else that they're going to be introducing during this month, but Mega Metagross by itself is already pretty hype. Now, let's first talk about the Dynamax content for this month, and I will say right off the bat that there's only a couple of these that are actually really good, and the rest are kind of forgettable. So, from September 29th until October 5th, we're going to get Beldum in Dynamax battles, and then we're going to have Drillbur from October 6th until October 12th. And then from October 13th until the 19th, we're going to have Bounsweet, and then from the 20th until the 26th, we have Ghastly. And then from the 27th until November 2nd, we're going to have Woobat. Now, out of these, I will say that Ghastly, Drillbur, and Beldum are going to be the standouts, but in particular, Beldum and Drillbur. Both of those are proven to be really useful for Dynamax battles. Some will argue that Ghastly is also really good, specifically Gengar, but there is the Gigantamax version, so that is the one you will always want to target. Now, when it comes to 5-star raids during this month, it's actually not looking that exciting. We have Deoxys normal form and defense form from October 7th until the 14th. Then we have the attack form and speed form from the 14th until the 21st. And then we're going to have Genesect as well as Genesect DOS Drive and Shock Drive from the 21st until the 28th. And then we're going to close off the month with Giratina altered form from October 28th until November 4th. And yeah, Deoxys is not that exciting, neither is Genesect, mainly because these are mythical Pokemon technically, so you can't even trade them. And I will say that they're never really that good for both PvP and raid battles, so this is looking to be kind of a dull month when it comes to 5-star raids. But next, let's talk about Mega Evolution raids, because I think there's just a little bit more that they are offering this month. First and foremost, from October 7th until the 14th, we're going to have the starter Pokemon Mega Sceptile, Mega Blaziken, as well as Mega Swampert. And then from the 14th until the 21st, we're going to have Mega Mawile and Mega Salamence. And then from the 21st until the 28th, we're going to have Houndoom and Mega Absol. And then from the 28th until November 4th, and this is pretty hype, we're going to have Mega Gengar, Mega Sableye, as well as Mega Banette. Now, out of every single one of these Mega Evolution raids, I will say that some of them are actually really good, while others are completely forgettable. In particular, I will say that Mega Sceptile, Mega Blaziken, and Mega Swampert are all three really solid Mega Evolutions. And then of course, Mega Gengar is one of the highest DPS Pokemon in the game, and it's also considered a top counter for several raid bosses. So you will want to make sure you get the Mega Energy for these Pokemon in particular. That is definitely going to be beneficial for your account. And then of course, in conjunction with all of the different raid bosses we're going to be getting, these are going to be the raid hours for this month. First and foremost, on October 1st, we're actually going to get Origin Form Dialga, which is actually going to be a good one. But then on October 8th, we're going to have both Normal Form Deoxys as well as Defense Form. And then on October 15th, we're going to have Deoxys Attack Form and Deoxys Speed Form. And then on October 22nd, we're going to have the 3 different forms of Genesect that are going to be available. And then finally, on October 29th, we're going to have Giratina Origin Form getting a raid hour. And then let's look at the spotlight hours for this month. And there's actually something here that's going to be super interesting. First and foremost, we're going to have Ferroseed getting a spotlight hour on October 7th with a 2x evolution experience bonus. And then Petlil is going to get a spotlight hour on October 14th with a 2x catch Stardust bonus. And then Ghastly is going to get a spotlight hour on October 21st with a 2x catch experience bonus. And here's the big one. Sinistea is actually going to be getting a spotlight hour on October 28th with a 2x catch candy bonus. We'll talk more about this later. And then finally, let's go over all of the in-game events that are going to be happening during this month. Of course, we have the continuation of the XP celebration, and that is because on October 15, we're going to see an increase to the level cap, which is something that a lot of players are definitely looking forward to. But until then, we got this Steel Skyline event, which is going to be from September 30th until October 7th. And then October 4th, we of course are going to be getting Mega Metagross Raid Day, which is one you will definitely not want to miss out on. And then we have the Harvest Festival event, which is going to run from October 10th until the 16th. And then from the 16th until the 20th, we're going to get a Pokemon Legends ZA celebration event. That is of course because that game is actually going to be released during this time. Now here is something that is very interesting, because on October 18th, there is going to be a Mega Raid Day, and they did not announce what the Pokemon is. Now, if you were to think about it, Pokemon Legends ZA is actually going to be introducing a whole bunch of new Mega Evolutions. So definitely pay attention to this, because there is a strong possibility that we might be getting one of the new Megas from Pokemon Legends ZA for this particular Mega Raid Day. And then from October 21st until the 27th, we're going to get part 1 of the Halloween event, which is typically one of the best events of the year. And then on October 27th until November 2nd, we're going to get part 2 of the Halloween event. And then there's also going to be a Go Battle weekend from the 25th until the 26th. So for battlers, that is definitely something you will want to pay attention to. All right, so first and foremost, the one thing I want to point out, and this is going to be one of those nice surprises, is that we're going to be getting Sinistea for a spotlight hour. That is crazy in my opinion, because when it comes to this one Pokemon, in case you didn't know, there's actually a version of it that is actually super rare, and a lot of players are always looking out for that rare version of Sinistea. And on top of that, this has always been seen as a bit of a raid exclusive. You never ever really saw Sinistea in the wild. So the fact that they're giving it a spotlight hour means this is going to be one of those spotlight hours that a lot of players are going to participate in. And I also find it interesting that they chose Deoxys to be the 5-star raid boss for a majority of this month. I think Deoxys is one of those Pokemon where players just simply do not care about it anymore. At one point, it was actually a pretty hype Pokemon, considering that Defense Form Deoxys was a must-have Pokemon for PvP, but on top of that, the Attack Form Deoxys was probably the best glass cannon for a little bit of time. And I think the very fact that Deoxys was once an elite raid, or I should say an EX raid, which is something that I kind of shudder whenever I say, but yeah, it used to be an EX raid boss, so a lot of players seen it as quite rare. But nowadays, people just simply do not care about Deoxys. Maybe if you're a shiny hunter, you would want to get all of the shiny forms for Deoxys, which is, 4 different shinies, but I think aside from that, there really is no hype around this one Pokemon being in raids. Of course, at the end of the month for the Halloween season, we are going to be getting Giratina, which is actually a really good Pokemon. So it's not that the entire month is going to be pretty poor when it comes to raids. I think there's just a lot more they could have done. I think Deoxys is a bit of a boring choice. Even all 4 forms of it, it's just not that good. Deoxys defense form has obviously fallen off quite a bit when it comes to PvP. So yeah, I think this is going to be a bit of a boring month when it comes to raids specifically. But in terms of the events, in terms of the Pokemon debuts, and of course, with all the Mega Evolutions that are coming, like Mega Metagross, yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of really good things with this month, and I do think it's going to be one that's going to live up to the hype for the typical October months. But in any case, that's going to be it for this video. Definitely share your thoughts regarding this month down below. Is there something in particular that's coming in the month of October that you're really excited about? Or do you feel like this is going to be a bit of a disappointing month? Are you someone who just feels really down about Deoxys being the main raid boss for a majority of this month? Definitely share all of your thoughts and opinions in the comments down below, and let's have a great discussion. And thank you so much for making it all the way to the end of this video. I really hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if it's your first time here, and don't forget that notification bell so you know exactly when I upload videos. And real quick, let me give a shout out to all of my patrons on Patreon. You make this channel content possible. If you want to support the Jinsula channel, the best way you could do that is going to be by joining my Patreon. And if you decide to become a paid Patreon member, I will add you personally to my Pokemon Go friends list. So that means for stuff like remote raids, the friendship system, opening and sending gifts, different things like that. If you want to play Pokemon Go with me, then make sure you go and check out my Patreon. I'll put a link to it in the description below. And if you want to support my channel in a completely different way, you can do so by following me on social media. My handle is @Jinsula. I'm on the platforms you see right now on the bottom of your screen. Make sure you go over there and give me a follow, and that'll be a huge help to my channel. And you'll have access to some exclusive content, and you'll be able to keep up with my daily life. With all that said, that's going to be it for this video. I'm Jinsula. Be safe, have fun, love yourself. Make sure you look in the mirror, tell yourself that you are awesome because I think you're awesome, and have yourself a really good day, and I'll catch you all later.
진솔아와 함께해 Pokémon GO 다 같이 와